This video is designed to make van life a lot easier, especially those people that have only just gotten into van life. We're going to be going through all the techniques on how to find park-ups and various things that you didn't even know existed that will make your life a lot easier. Plus, I've got a lot of people on this channel that are seasoned van lifers like myself. I say I'm seasoned, 3 years so far. If you've got any tips, drop them in the comments so that all these new guys can live a lot easier. That way they can just sort of go down and check the comments themselves. Come into the van because we're going to start off with the most important one, is how do you find park-ups, places that you can park and sleep for the night where you are guaranteed it to be safe. Well, let me show you. It's starting to rain outside, so we are coming inside. All you need for this is your mobile phone and signal. It's always worth doing this sort of through the day where you're guaranteed to have signal. Find somewhere to find somewhere, so to speak. Let's say, for instance, you are in, I don't know, the Lake District. Go on to Google Maps. That is the one that I use the most. You can already see just how many pins I've got throughout everywhere. But like we said, we're going into the Lake District National Park. Let's say you're, I don't know, Haweswater. So I think that's Haweswater. Yeah, Haweswater Reservoir. It says it just there. Let's say you want to find a park up for the night. So you go into this little button up here and you can click on the satellite image. So when that loads up, boof, there is your satellite image. You can see the roads on there. So you can zoom right in to the actual roads and just keep following it along until you find a spot that you like. Let's go somewhere else that I've not pinned. Let's keep going down here. We're in the Lake District National Park. You can see how many pins I've got there. It's just because I absolutely love the place. So this is going to be a bit of a tricky one to sort of showcase, shall we say. Let's go down to Thalmere, shall we? So there we go, Thalmere Lake. So that is between sort of Rydal Waters, which is down here, and Derwent Water up here. It's Thalmere. So we just go zooming in. You want to spend the night round there sort of time. You don't want to go on this major road here because you know that's going to be busy. But directly over the other side of the lake, you've got this lovely road here. And if you look around, it goes right the way up to the main road up there. So it's going to sort of be a quiet sort of out the way road. And if you look down this side, again, it joins back up to the main road over here. So it's sort of a rabbit run. But if you want to see what the road is actually like, you can click and press hold on it and both click on the street view and you can have a look at the street view. Boom, look at that. Already you've got that little spot just there. Can you spend the night in that little spot just there? Well, let's have a look. The way that I find out is I move forward when I've got a bit of better signal, and you can zoom into the signs. There's a couple of signs just there. There's probably one on the gate or something like that. And what you're looking out for is parking restrictions maybe, or how to pay and display. There's nothing on the gate there, but there is a sign there. No overnight parking here. Basically, yeah. So you're not allowed to overnight park there, so don't park there. But then you can zoom back into this bottom map and follow the road down until you find another spot that you can spend the night. Let's go right the way down this way and just sort of look at that spot there, right sort of by the side of the water. So you can wake up in the morning and go straight in. So you can click onto that road just there like that. Look at that, right by the water. And you can basically just keep following it along until you find a spot. Now, on Google Maps down the bottom here, you can zoom right in and find various laybys, but this is quite a wooded area, as you can tell. So sometimes the trees are going to be coming over those little lay-by areas. That looks a bit better. Nope, I was wrong. And you could just try and find a lovely little spot. Now, from experience, I'm going to tell you this straight up. I know this lake. I know the park-ups that are on this lake. Well, it's not a lake, it's a mere. Anyway, I know you can't park around this area. It's all owned by the Water Trust. Oh, there's a little fork in the road there. Is there a little fork? Oh yeah, there's a little path going up there. Now on the map you can see like a sort of forestry track going up there. Comes off the main road there and up here. Now here, on the actual street view, it doesn't look like it's updated massively, but there is a track there. It's not like it says on the bottom map. There is a gate there. You can't park there. You're just looking out for that sort of stuff. But then how do you know if you found a spot that it's safe? Well, that's where you can come off it and go over to another app called Park for Night. Everyone uses Park for Night, but I find the park-ups that are on Park for Night they tend to be quite busy. So we're going into here. We're going up to Thalmere, which is that lake just there. it will say Thalmir on it just there, and then you click this, search that area, and you can see there's no park ups along that side of the lake. There is these ones, which again are just like laybys. You can large gravel place with small street parking, ideal for travelling. It has a toilet which is closed during the stay. Blah de blah de blah. It's all what it is. But then you'd go down and you look at the reviews, because you do have reviews. Granted, Park for Night is a Europe-wide app, so a lot of them are going to be in different languages, shall we say. But you can see what's what there. You can go through and flick the pictures. Park for Night has reviews, and that one just there, I know you can't park there now anyway. But that's because I've driven past it before, I know that. Let's look at that one just there. Now, I know Park for Night, that coloured symbol basically means no overnight parking. That's just the way I see it. There you go. You've got a warning pop straight up at the top of the page just then. No overnight parking here. You've got reviews normally down the bottom here. Obviously, there are no reviews on this spot, but you can look at those reviews. There's a little spot just there. That colour is the spots where you are allowed to park off. But look, lay-by just off the main road, it's got 3 stars out of 2, and you keep going down, very quiet, sheltered by grass virgin trees, lay-by is set back, and you've got all these reviews. You can read through every single one of them. Not great, slept okay, but the noise with the constant sheep. Also some traffic noise. I used earplugs, recommended. Yeah, you can got reviews to figure out whether things are safe. Now, this is a bit of a often overlooked tip, shall we say. It is vitally important that you get a good night's sleep. I know that sounds stupid. I know it sounds sort of a bit lame and a bit, but hear me out. I've noticed, this is just me personally over the last few years, if I get a really rough night's sleep, let's say I'm parked in a lay-by next to a road and the traffic going past is rocking the van and it disturbs me, or noisy traffic, or just anywhere bad, if I get a bad night's sleep, I end up groggy for like 2 days. And it takes me that long, but maybe because I'm a little bit older, I don't know. Anyway, getting a perfectly level bed with my head slightly upright or perfectly level, I find I have a good night's sleep. If my head is slightly down, I end up with a rough night's sleep. There's a couple of ways I combat. I've got this, my Savvy screen, and it's got something on it called the Savvy stance, and it tells me whether I'm perfectly level, how much I need to raise each side of the van, front to back. On top of that, inside the back of the van, I've got this. This is my air suspension for the back of the camper van, so I can lower the left or higher the left and up the left and stuff like that. That's by a company called Martech. It was Nomad Adventure Vehicles that fitted that to my van. If you haven't got anything like that, you can use leveling blocks, which are those things just there. You can put them under the wheel, drive up on them. That's enough about that, because on the topic of having a good night's sleep, for me, it's vitally important. One, because I still work full time, so I need to sleep to be able to be rested for work the following day. My next biggest problem, which makes it a challenge, is I work the night shift. Last night I finished at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I needed to sleep in today because I know I've got another later shift today. So how can I sleep like that during the daytime? How can I sleep when it's light? Well, I've got a couple of little hacks for you. Number one, I have got blackout curtains. They do the side windows, but the side windows are also tinted, so I don't really get anything like that. I've got these, which are magnetic blinds to go around the front window, but they're also thick and thermal, so if it is really hot outside, I don't really notice it because this keeps it all out quite nicely. That's basically all they are. If you have a look, it's just a thermal magnet window cover. And I've got these for multiple reasons. I think I picked these up from a company called Voyage Adventure Vans. I found them over on Instagram, and that is as quick as it takes to get that up on the window. But there's 2 benefits besides the general keeping the light out. That is a safety feature. If I am parked up somewhere that I need to escape quickly, there is nothing worse than having to get out of the van to take a wraparound blind off. I can literally just come straight in here, grab it, boof, let's go. What about this for a topic? Where and how do you find free water or taps to fill up your water? And there's a number of options and a number of ways that I've used, and I've never struggled to find water, let's say. Number one is car washes. There's always a tap at car washes. The best one to go to, sometimes they're in locked boxes and stuff like that, like your Tesco's car washes. the hand car wash places. So like you go to Tesco's car park and there's one of those little buildings at the side that say, we'll wash your car for so much money while you're doing your shopping. If you go there at night time when they're closed, there's always a tap outside. I like to just like, it's all on camera, so I like to leave a quid or two just on the side, but then I'll fill up, like, I won't fill the water tank because I never do. I always think of me weight in the van. I do not want to be overweight in this van, and water tends to weigh a kilo per litre. I've got a 90 litre water tank plus a 10 litre boiler. I don't want to take no risks in being overweight because I am very close to being overweight as it stands. I'm currently parked up here and I know for a fact there's a tap down there, but that's just through experience I've found that one, and you'll find that yourself. You will learn a lot through experience. Here's one for your water that a lot of people don't know about but is highly true. Graveyards, they all have outside taps and they are all extremely helpful. You can ask anybody, have you got a water tap where I could put some water in my camper van, please? Be polite manners, and they'll always say, yeah, no problem, it's just over there, but it's a bit too far away to reach for your hose. Do you want to use ours? Or have you got a container that you can use to cart it over? They're extremely helpful, but you'll be driving around knowing I've got graveyard water in my tank, like I currently have now at the minute. I work as a truck driver, so directly in our yard we've got our truck wash where we wash the trucks. There's an outside tap there. I will admit I don't trust that water for drinking purposes. To be fair, I don't drink any water that I find, solely because stored water in your tank can grow pathogens and stuff. Brita water filter always lives in my fridge and is always just there. That's my drinking water. I fill it up from my tap, from the tank. Any other water, it's just kept there. I use it for washing up and showers and stuff like that. I heat my water to over 60 degrees, and that's when it kills all the pathogens in the water for a shower. Because my camper van is fully electric off-grid, meaning I don't have gas in this van. It's just fully electric. I've become very electrical sort of conscious. I know where I'm using electric, how to save electric, when I can use more electric, and when I need to be careful of how much electric I use. That's what this is all about here. I've figured out that my life is really quick paced at the moment, so I haven't really got time to spend an hour cooking. Plus, an hour cooking for me is a lot of electricity used on my induction hob or my air fryer. And my air fryer and induction hob run over 1500 watts. So I thought, what about just a microwave to be able to reduce how much electricity I'm using? That's what this is right here. I went down to the Asda yesterday and got myself a 700 watt one, and I got myself a few microwave meals just to try them out, some healthy high protein ones, because I'm getting back into my hiking and I could do with quite a bit of protein. Using 700 watts over 5 minutes is better than using 1800 watt air fryer for 25 minutes. Going fully electric just makes sense to me because it's becoming harder and harder and harder to find gas to fill up your gas tanks. So fully electric just works for me. I just need to be a bit conscious at the moment. For the next week, I'm going to be essentially parked here, so I could do with using as little as possible. We've got a rainstorm coming in, so I'm not going to be getting much through the solar, and I'm only going to be driving for 5-10 minutes a day just to get to and from work. So saving as much electricity as possible is always beneficial. But if you do run low on electricity, there's nothing stopping you from going somewhere to plug in. You can go to a campsite to plug in. They'll only charge you something like a tenner. Oh, do you mind if I just come on and I really need to charge up my camper van on your electrics? Oh, I'll pay you. How much do you want? Sometimes they'll charge you for the night, so you may as well take advantage of the showers and facilities that they have on a campsite. Sometimes they may just say, oh yeah, just go down and do it, it's okay. Depends how polite you are. It's amazing just how far good manners will get you. It won't get you as far on some places, but it will do on others. I'm looking down at the cupboard wondering, I don't know if this is going to fit. There's only one way to find out. This drawer or cupboard that's right down here is absolutely full of stuff that I don't really use. I mean, what is that? A collapsible dishwasher drainer. Never used it. I don't even know why I've still got it in the box, but I am actually going to start using that. I could do with using that. I've got to get everything out of here and put it into the box that the actual microwave came in. You know, be resourceful and stuff, because that's all full of stuff that I don't really need anymore. I mean, never used it in my life. I've got gas for a cooker that is actually already in the boot of the van. You know, just as an emergency backup. But that's that. I've got a TikTok shop mini handheld hoover, which, to be fair, I never use that. I just sweep up everywhere and then mop up. Spare pans for when I go camping. I've just got a resistance band. I'm going to keep that out because I want to use that. Winter is coming up. Do you want to stop condensation? These little things here, you can buy 4 for a couple of quid down at the local B&M or cheap shop, and they actually generally work to keep away a bit of condensation. I just whack one in the front all winter, and by the end of the winter it's full, so I just bin it off. Let's have a little gander and see if it will fit. If it will fit, oh god, that's going to be tight. Oh, what about if I put the cable on the top? Is that what's blocking it? Oh no, I hope. Oh, what's that stuck? It's literally stuck on. See that little bump that sticks out there? It's stuck on that. Yeah, that's not gonna work. And one thing you do become extremely good at during van life is problem solving. How am I gonna do that? That's the cupboard I wanted it in, but I thought I'd try it under there. And although it fits, I can't really open the door. I tried raising it up and then it catches on that top bar. Guess my only real option with that is to store it either in that bottom cupboard stood upright or underneath this bench seat, and then when I want to use it, get it out and put it up there. I don't know. I'll probably come up with a different idea eventually. I've got to try something. It might not work, but it was only by about that much space, like an inch, that it wouldn't go in. Well, I've got half an inch gap on the door, so if I get the door off, that's a bit of space. And then on this side we've got this metal corner piece just here. Well, that goes in by half an inch as well, so if I can get that off and squeeze it into place, once I get past this sort of ridge, it might sit in. And it's only 4 screws to get these off, so I'm just going to be gentle. That's all I've got to do, be nice and gentle. These units are actually bulletproof. You'll find that if you buy cheap, you do end up buying twice. That saying is real. It does look like it's a bit better, but we'll find out. Get the cable above the top, and and the space there, and does it work? Oh yes! Let's just get the door back on. All I'll need to do is get the plug and plug it straight into my plug sockets that are just there. I think what I'm going to do is build a shelf about here, and it can go on top of the shelf up here, and then I've got extra storage room. That leads you on to the next tip to make things a little bit easier. Have a few tools. If you're not good with tools, it's always good to have just the essentials and give it a go, because that way, if anything does break in the future, at least you've got an idea on how to fix it. If you don't really want to be fixing anything or other, make sure you've got a contact list of people that can, and bare essential tools, screwdrivers, jack, wheel brace, anything to get your wheels off, just a few tools to get you out of a tight little sticky situation. I've got that box there which is all full of Sikaflex and anything like that. I've got my wheel brace there, my jack just there, I've got a toolbox just over there, and kicking around I've got boxes and bags of just like electrical stuff. But keep in mind, I live in this van, so I need to be able to get it fixed wherever I am, whenever I get it broken. Look at that. The next vital one, always make sure you've got at least 2 fire extinguishers. I've got one in the back there, the big one. It's a powder fire extinguisher because I'm fully electric. Powder is the best for electrical fires. I've got the big one in the back because that's where the majority of the electrics are, and directly in the front in one of those kitchen cupboards is where I've got my next one, which is just a smaller one. It's better to be safe. Now there is a reason I am making this video today, and it's because I'm going to have quite a large chunk of rubbish coming out from the boxes and all that sort of stuff. Later on today, I'm going to where I can get rid of all this rubbish. So it's always wise to just think about that. If you're going somewhere, right, I've got this rubbish, I've got that, I could do with this, I could do with that. I don't know what that is for on that foldable tray. Oh yeah, I've got it. It clicks into there. I don't know why that hasn't just come with one piece. And then when you've got it expanded out, you can easily put your knives and forks in that bit. Let's try it. Oh god, that's a stiff one. Draining board. Your knives and forks will go into there, your plates and bowls will go into there. I think I got that from IKEA, dead cheap. So now I can fold it up, and it saves me some storage space in various other places. I've got quite a few foldable bits like this, and they all just live in this top cupboard just here. Foldable washing bowl, foldable drainer. Perfect. Now there's one thing that will bring your van life dream to a crashing halt instantly. You could be having the best week of your life and it could easily end. This is going to save that, and I'll tell you a story on what happened to me for all those new people that didn't see that video. I broke down, catastrophically broke down. What did I do? I knew for a fact I would be off the road for a while with this one. I had a drive shaft bearing go. It's a common fault with this van, and I'd researched all the common faults with this van, so I knew it was going to go. I just didn't know when. What was I going to do when it did went? Well, I forward planned all of that. I had what's called an emergency backup fund. I had £4,000 sat in the bank just in case of a problem that went on, and that's partly the reason why I'm working right now, to rebuild that backup fund up. Proof I actually do drink that stuff. It wasn't just a brand deal a few videos ago. Anyway, I broke down. It was a headache to get it sorted. The RAC wouldn't do anything because I'm over 6 meters, even though I told them the exact van that I've got. Ended up sorting something else out, getting the van sorted to another garage, and they had it for nearly 2 weeks. Through this whole period, I still worked. I lived out of a hotel for that bit of time. And how did I do that? Because I had that emergency backup fund. I was able to get that van in, get it sorted, and still live, still work, still do everything because I had that emergency backup fund. It cost me £3,800. That whole scenario, including the hotel, the repairs, the recovery, everything. £3,800. Imagine if you didn't have that backup fund. Your van life dreams would have been completely over. It's definitely worth an emergency backup fund in the bank. And finally, your last thing goes towards your mobile phone. Research. And I mean that. You can research the place you're going to, where the park ups are through various Facebook groups. Some of them are really, really good. You can research how much things cost, ferries cost, how much European travel costs, the tolls in France, what equipment you need to add to your van to go to France, your insurance. I use Sterling Insurance. They convert everything, and even I've got £1,000 awning cover because there's a trend going around at the moment where people are nicking awnings. I've got £2,000 contents insurance just in case anyone gets in while I'm away. Research absolutely everything so that you have the best possible experience you can ever have. And just expect the worst, but hope for the best, and you're going to have a great time. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you are new around here, please subscribe.